Maria Theresa, can I invite you? I want to introduce you as the person who has been part of the Women's Leadership Network. You are the president of the Philippine Slum Dwellers Federation. Thank you for coming today and speaking to us.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to be part of this, especially to those who have organized this event. Just for an additional context, we are working in 102 registered community associations of urban poor communities in the Philippines, occupying lands along coastlines, river embankment, flood-prone areas, lands below a power transmission line along railroad tracks. So those are the communities I represent, where the membership came from. For additional context, you may also be aware that the Philippines is visited by more than 20 typhoons every year, and most of this, 5 typhoons, usually strong, can severely damage our communities, destroying our houses, our livestock, crops, food, water supply, power, livelihood, among others. So there are communities that have been living in tents for more than 3 to 4 years because of an earthquake. An earthquake which destroyed their houses in 2018. And while they are living in the campsite, they experience strong typhoons every year, heavy rains, strong winds. You can only imagine their condition during the pandemic. So that's really terrible. We have communities of 1,000 families, which was demolished in 2021, is now living in a temporary shelter because the government evicted them from the land so that they can build a mall in a business district. So this is the kind of management we do. And then we also, with the support of SDI, the SDI have put so much work to improve these conditions, but there are a lot of challenges and multi-dimensional risks that it is impossible for the communities to really cope. For us, it is very important that urban poor groups have a role to play, a very important role to play in finding solutions to problems, not just a beneficiary, but a collaborator. Do not get me wrong, we all want solutions that are based in science, but in our experience, most of the scientific solutions without the input of the most vulnerable groups tend to not fit our context. We are talking about resilience, but resilience have a great cost. And sometimes we have this, learning activities, we have this, disaster risk reduction, we have and management, we have this planning activities, but we can only plan so much. But the truth is, what is the impact of this plan if the poor cannot afford it? So the question really now for us is, how do we give more emphasis, more focus to the most vulnerable groups? And we have been to global conferences of disaster risk reduction. We have to this conference in locally led adaptation. But most of the time we have this pilot projects, small pilot projects, and then we report, oh, this and this have this impact in the urban core settlements. But we rarely see the dent. We cannot see the dent of the impacts of this global solutions in the front lines, in the urban core settlements. So that's the challenge for us right now, really, is how do we address poverty? How do we address the vulnerability of the people on the ground? And then we are saying no one, we should not leave no one behind. But right now, people are dying in the urban poor settlements. People are suffering. And so the challenge for us really now is to how do we operationalize what are we talking, what are we speaking of in the global platform? How do we operationalize this on the actual urban poor settlements that are really suffering? Thank you.
Teresa, that was so powerful and so to the point for everything that we want to put into this process. The points that you made, which were very critical, was that all these extreme climate situations are man-made, and so is eviction. And SDI puts this as part of what destroys our roofs. We're not just talking about weather, but we're also talking of what our cities and the governments do, and we hold them to account. You talked about that whole continuum of disaster to resilience, which is the transformation that we all seek, that we want to participate in. And we see roof over our head as a mechanism to do that. And we want to look at ways by which all development investment has an underlying climate change perspective that is scientific, but which can be appropriated by communities.